Blessings and namaste, everyone. I am spiritualist, psychic astrologer, and medium Sette. Thank you once again for sharing this time with me as I discuss the astrological and spiritual potentials and possibilities for the month of February 2019. I'm trusting that everyone weathered our January eclipse season with effortless ease. Remember, our eclipse surge a tremendous amount of energy. They open up portals, they redirect energy, they create powerful shifts that certainly assist us in moving forward along our along our spiritual path, certainly astrological path as well. And remember, all alignments are really specific to how they connect with our personal charts as to exactly how they will unfold themselves for us on a personal level. And to do that, certainly we always look at our personal charts to get access a greater understanding to all of those energies. Remember, all astrological planetary phenomena has a greater potential to it when we allow ourselves to recognize the opportunities presented at hand. Everything is an opportunity. Just sometimes we don't fully allow ourselves to recognize the higher vibrational aspect of a specific alignment. Every alignment aspect, planet, sign has a lower vibrational influence and a higher vibrational spectrum of influence. And just as the colors of the rainbow have different vibrational frequencies to them, the red end of the spectrum is a low vibrational frequency. The violet, ultraviolet end of the spectrum is a higher vibrational frequency. It's not necessarily bad, good, wrong, or right, just a different dynamic of a specific energy. And wherever it is that we focus our attention, whether it be on the lower end of the spectrum or the higher end of the spectrum, that is how, with our free will, we shall bring to form whatever is being presented to us. Now, I would like to begin with our coming new moon, which will be on February 4th. At 4:04 p.m. Eastern Time, and it will be in the sign of astrologers and astrology, Aquarius. And whenever I discuss the new moon, I like to preface it by touching upon the balsamic moon phase, which will begin on January 31st at 12:58 p.m. Eastern Time. That begins our time of opportunity, our window of opportunity to prepare ourselves for beginning the next lunar cycle with a clean slate. Also, too, it's a time of elimination, cleansing, clearing, purging, as I've emphasized many times in these videos and in my forecast. That is an auspicious opportunity to prepare for the next new moon cycle. Now, our new moon being in the sign of Aquarius, which is the sign of the new age, the humanitarian, it's a sign of great, powerful, profound change. It's also the sign of chaos. And as I've always emphasized, great chaos will always precede profound change. And these changes very much connect us with higher levels of consciousness, humanitarianism, oneness, the oneness that we are always connected to with each other, with one another. So in the days leading up to the new moon, if there's anything less than loving, especially regarding thoughts that we may still need to allow ourselves to release, ask Spirit to show you and direct you, and have the courage to release and clear away whatever lower vibrational thinking no longer serves a purpose for you. As I said, Aquarius is the sign of great change. If you find that an element of fear is presented to you when you are offered an opportunity for change, allow yourself the opportunity to release the fear of change. Allow yourself to adequately prepare and welcome great change, which will certainly propel you on your evolutionary path. The sign of Aquarius is also the sign of excitement. Aquarius brings us many exciting opportunities. And to do that, we have to certainly change first within ourselves. We have been given many opportunities to really establish some great changes within ourselves in these last unprecedented years. So this is another turning point for us to change and move forward. Also, too, remember Aquarius is the sign of unconventional thinking, abstract thinking. Aquarius is the sign of the inventor. For example, Albert Einstein connected very much with this energy when he was given and Spirit shared with him his theory of relativity. Look and just, I always like to use that as an example, how that was such an unconventional theory, thought process that this great one shared with his colleagues and his peers. And when he presented this theory, it was widely discredited. However, look how now we observe that as being such a profound impact in the world of physics, theoretical physics. And it was born out of unconventional thinking. And many times we need to break the barriers of limitations of our limited, sometimes logical thoughts, which keep us from allowing ourselves to recognize great solutions that are given to us whenever we are presented with an opportunity to rise above any experience. At the time of the new moon, allow yourself to perhaps recognize how every one of us are instruments of great and powerful change, and how that change will be demonstrated is very unique and personal to ourselves. Allow yourselves to have the courage perhaps to be shown, if you are not clear, how you are very much an instrument of great change that will assist the all of humanity in elevating its consciousness. The earth, all of humanity, we are ascending to a higher level of consciousness, to that fifth dimensional experience, which is certainly an element of the new age. I also forgot to mention that since January 6th, all the planets have been direct. There's been no retrograde phases since January 6th, and our next retrograde experience will be on March 5th when Mercury moves retrograde. What I would like to emphasize with that is that we may feel as though things are accelerating. And I touch upon that now because Aquarius is the element that connects with time moving very, very quickly, or rather our perceptions of time moving quickly, because part of what Aquarius will allow us to engage in is the disillusion of time. It awakens us to a higher level of consciousness which transcends time and space. And in these times, with all the planets direct in their orbit, we may feel as though things are moving very, very quickly. We may be feeling lethargic. We may be feeling weighed down. And because we are acclimating to a higher level of consciousness, we're adjusting. We're simply adjusting. And sometimes it can be very much an exhausting process when we ascend. For example, if anyone has had the opportunity to hike a mountain, look to see how challenging and how exhausting that experience is. But once we reach that summit, look at the beauty that we are given the opportunity to observe at that point. It's very similar in the ascension process. As we ascend to higher levels of consciousness, it can be exhausting, sometimes more so than others. And because we just experienced an eclipse season with all the surges and shifts of energy, it can be quite taxing and exhausting. So allow yourself the opportunities for self-care. Detach, step back whenever you feel the need to do so. And many times when there's so much energy being dissolved and released in the outside world, we can feel the brunt of it, and we have to be that much more aware of all that is necessary for ourselves to be in the world and not of it. As I'm touching upon the energies of the new moon in Aquarius, again, it's a time of great and powerful change. Remember, chaos will always precede that change. So if we're once again noticing perhaps a surge of chaos in the outside world, let yourself become an observer. Reflect on all the experiences with discernment. When we allow ourselves to be detached from whatever happens in the outside world, we allow ourselves to be given higher insights as to how it's all fitting into the big picture. And all of this, whether we choose to recognize it or not, every one of us will receive the blessings of these experiences. We just have to let ourselves trust. We need to allow ourselves to just be in that place of trust and allow Spirit to share with us its higher knowing. As I said, Aquarius is a sign of abstract, unconventional thinking. If you are challenged with any situation which perhaps would require abstract problem solving, this is the perfect time to do so, especially with Mercury in the sign of Aquarius as well. As Mercury transits the sign of unconventional thinking, we are offered the opportunity to engage in unconventional thinking, which will allow us to receive greater insights and understanding. Perfect time for abstract problem solving. And all of that is given to us when we allow ourselves to quiet the mind, especially through the disciplines of meditation. In those moments when our mind is very quiet, that's when we offer Spirit the opportunity to plant seeds, to share with us its higher abstract knowing. The time as the sun is in Aquarius, and specifically with this new moon being in the sign of the progressive thinker, we engage in many opportunities to receive progressive thoughts and insights, unconventional solutions to whatever we might be challenged with. And with Jupiter in the sign of the higher mind, Sagittarius, forming a benevolent influence to the sun and moon, the new moon, it just further emphasizes how these opportunities are very much presented to us, and we're being assisted in spirit to recognize higher thoughts, higher insights to not only what we might be experiencing within ourselves, in our own personal lives, but with whatever might be unfolding in the outside world as well. On February 13th, Mars, the planet of energy, forms a new moon conjunction alignment to Uranus. A conjunction is a new moon when two elements come together and occupy the exact same space, or the exact same, position along the sign of the zodiac. And what's interesting about this specific alignment with Mars and Uranus, Mars will connect with any element with every 2 years. The moon will connect with Mars more so once a month on a regular basis. However, Mars cycles are 2-year cycles. Mars will require about 2 months to go through a sign. On February 14th, Mars will transit into the sign of Taurus and will remain in Taurus until the end of March, early April. What I would like to emphasize with all of this is that Uranus is also in the last stages of the sign of Aries, that it's been transiting since about 2011 and 2012. Part of a Uranus cycle is 7 years. So what I would suggest to recognize, especially as Mars connects with Uranus moving through the last stage of the sign of Aries, Uranus being the sign of awakenings and change, whatever Uranus touches, whatever sector of the chart Uranus touches, it presents the element change, but also to an opportunity for great awakenings and awareness. What I would suggest is to reflect on the last 7 years. What began to stir up? What greater awareness was being presented to you about yourself, maybe certain facets of your life, about 7 years ago? And see this time as a final opportunity to perhaps release anything which you were offered an insight that no longer serves a purpose for you in these last 7 years, that can propel you on the next level of awareness from all that began about 7 years ago. Again, I'm keeping things very general right now. This would be more specific to whatever sector of the chart these elements are connecting with you. But just so that you have a starting point as to how to reflect on all of this, I share this with you now. On February 18th, the sun moves into the sign of Pisces. Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. It's the sign that most connects with psychic awareness, psychic experiences, psychic faculties. The element of Pisces also connects with anything which may be deeply embedded within ourselves. It's a sign of the subconsciousness, that which lies beneath the surface. And many times when we are presented with an opportunity to engage in activities with Pisces, we need to allow ourselves to go very deep within ourselves, especially with the metaphysical tool of meditation. Now, the day after the sun moves into the sign of Pisces, we have our next full moon, which is in the opposite of Pisces, Virgo. The Virgo-Pisces axis connects with fear and faith. With this full moon, we are being given an opportunity, a very strong and powerful opportunity, to recognize wherever fear may still be present in our lives and to release that fear. Use the full moon energy, the time of the full moon, the day of the full moon, as an opportunity to release any fear that still might be present in your life. Whether it's fear of change, fear of success, fear of improved health, whatever that might be, just that fear element. The full moon, it's a favorable time to release what no longer serves a purpose. The full moon culminates energy, and also too at the same time it also offers us an opportunity to release energy, situations, circumstances which no longer serves a purpose. Because it surges, it also releases. And with the Virgo element, and because the full moon it's less than 1 degree of Virgo, so it just went into the sign of Virgo, that fear element certainly can be very present. Virgo also connects with healthcare and well-being. See this as another opportunity to perhaps embrace unconventional modalities to assist you on your path of well-being. Remember, we were talking about unconventional thinking. This certainly could be part of those experiences as well for you. So we do have quite a few shifts of energy taking place in February. And as I've always emphasized, we only touch upon, for myself rather, I touch upon whatever I feel is the most significant, and I offer my insights as to how we can benefit from all that is presented to us. Remember, alignments, the planetary alignments, either whether in a month time frame or even within a day, can literally be thousands at a time. So we just touch upon that which is the most significant. And certainly we have to keep in mind that there may be other influences as well. And whether you're familiar with how to follow astrology, read astrology, or you work with someone like myself, in either case, I always suggest to always let Spirit guide you, because Spirit is available to us in every moment. A couple of final things that I would like to touch upon are the planets Saturn and Pluto, and a couple of the most significant alignments that they are forming. Right now, Saturn and Pluto Saturn is in Capricorn. Saturn and Pluto are in the sign of Capricorn. Capricorn is the sign that connects with large conglomerates, corporations, banks, those types of organizations. As Pluto has been transiting this sign, it's been dissolving many of those structures, frankly, because they no longer serve a purpose. And if we look back about 20 years ago, yes, we're going back about 20 years ago, there was a different type of alignment which took place back then, and Pluto and Saturn, which began this time of the dissolve of these large conglomerates, which, because they're not serving a humanitarian purpose, and what is being established, what is being created now, are those type of organizations that very much have that humanitarian element encoded within them. And that opportunity comes from the alignments between Saturn and Neptune, forming an opportunity, favorable aspect alignment between the two of them, creating organizations which are very much humanitarian, as well as connecting with that element of spirituality, which this is something that is all encompassing. It does not connect with any specific type of religion. This is an element that is very much a part of every one of us at the evolutionary creative level. And you see, we are all being given opportunities to really recognize how to contribute to all that is being created in the outside world. Many individuals many have been given opportunities to embrace what they truly, fully love. And I always suggest to recognize whatever it is that you really, truly love, that connects with your purpose. And many times we doubt the process. We don't feel as though we can connect with whatever that element is, quite frankly, because it may not necessarily afford us to really support ourselves in whatever way that we would choose to do so. However, I always suggest that whatever it is that you love, by allowing yourself to be in that place of love, connect with that energy and element of love, you will simply attract all that is necessary for you to enjoy and experience everything that you might desire. And it just requires just a little bit of a shift in thinking. And this month, it's a great time to shift the thinking and the thoughts and the consciousness. So allow yourself the courage to do so. You know, whenever we are given an opportunity to really travel that road less traveled, it does require quite a bit of courage and that dissolve of fear. We may not necessarily be completely void of fear, because sometimes, as all things do, sometimes that does serve a purpose. It sometimes creates that experience of checks and balances and keeps us humble. However, the fear does not serve a purpose when it debilitates us and it doesn't allow us to fully embrace and enjoy all the opportunities that are being presented to us. So, once again, I thank you for sharing this time with me. These months are moving very, very, very quickly. I will be sharing with Lori my available dates for my next trip to Florida, which will be April going into May. My time there will be from about April 24th to 25th to May 8th. My first day will be either the 24th or the 25th. Right now I'm leaning a little bit more towards the 25th. I'm trying to finalize my travel dates for this trip. But that's a good starting point, and we always suggest to book the appointments ahead of time. My schedule does fill up very, very, very quickly. Sometimes at the last minute, we're scurrying to get people in to see me. So we do suggest to reach out to the centers and establish your appointments as early as you possibly can. So again, thank you for sharing this time with me. Remain in the light and always in a place of love. I will see everyone very, very soon. Many blessings. Namaste.